Board Game Maniacs, Maniac Rob here to bring you another unboxing video. Now this unboxing video is something that I've been waiting for a long time since I heard it was coming out. And as you can tell from the description below, it is another expansion for the game Mansions of Madness by Fantasy Flight Games. Now it's Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. You can't use the 1st edition to play this expansion. It says specifically on the box that you have to have the Mansions of Madness 2 core game to play this. Now, this expansion I'm talking about, it just came out recently, and that is, well, this one right here. Oh yeah, it is the Sanctum of Twilight. Now, Mansions of Madness has been around for a while, obviously, because they made the 2nd edition core box and many expansions. If you're not familiar with the game Mansions of Madness, you can check it out on the internet, or you can also look in the videos that we have in our Board Game Maniacs channel, and you'll be able to find like unboxings that I did for another expansion. I talked about it briefly. So this here game, it's part of the world by H.P. Lovecraft. My mind just gone blank for a second there. I had a brain fart. Anyhow, so this is kind of based in the world that H.P. Lovecraft has created, and what Mansions of Madness and the town or city of Arkham, everything kind of just centers around there and expands and just goes out, and there's so many different monsters and murderers and everything else. Now, I run a game group every Saturday night in my studio, and we play many different games. One game that we seem to be coming back to a lot is Mansions of Madness, because it is a really fun game. It is very challenging depending on the scenario you play. Most scenarios are very challenging. And it's not your average board game. Obviously you got your miniatures, you got your dice, you got your cards, and you have, which is a computer app that you use that tells you how to set up each room into the mansion and what to put down and how to fight the monsters and everything. So it really draws you into this story that H.P. Lovecraft has created. Fantasy Flight did such a great job on creating that with the board game Mansions of Madness, 1st edition and 2nd edition. But again, this, you need the 2nd edition core box to play this. So have a seat, keep an eye out that you don't see any monsters or ghosts circling around that are going to sneak up and attack you. You don't want that. And we're going to rip this puppy open and see all the lovely goodness of this Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, Sanctum of Twilight. Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, Sanctum of Twilight expansion by Fantasy Flight Games. Very excited to open this up. I love playing the Mansions of Madness 2nd edition game and the expansions. It pulls you into the world so much. I'm very excited about this. I so wanted to open this up and play it last night, because last night was Saturday night game night. We did play Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, but we didn't open and play this one. All the Board Game Maniacs want me to open this so that we can play it, but no, I'm doing an unboxing video because I didn't have time to do it yesterday before we played it. So this has been eating at me ever since yesterday when I got this game. So without further ado, let's look at the beautifulness of this. And that's right, I said beautifulness. Got a problem. Before we open the box, again, we have to admire the beautiful artwork, just like every other Mansions of Madness game. Expansion and everything, really cool. It's got the the mansion there, the gates, the lights showing through. Very awesomeness. And on the back, like breach the inner sanctum. Interesting. I'm not going to read a little blurb here, but you get 1 rule sheet, 5 map tiles, 2 investigator cards, and plastic figures, monster tokens, 2 monster tokens, and plastic figures, 10 common item cards, 6 unique item cards, 10 spell cards, 5 condition cards, 2 damage cards, 2 horror cards, 20 restraint tokens, 10 person tokens, 7 clue tokens, and 2 wall tokens. So that is what you get into this. And just as always, it is of age range of 14 plus, 1 to 5 players, and it can take anywhere between 2 to 3 hours to play this expansion, as well as the core game Mansions of Madness with the app, which is really cool. Just to touch upon the app again from Fantasy Flight Games for Mansions of Madness, the 2nd edition. When you download it and you pick a scenario, it'll tell you roughly how long it's going to take, which is really cool, because then if you don't have a lot of time when you're playing it with your friends or family, you can pick one that is less time. But a little word of caution here, the ones that are less time usually are the ones that are a lot more difficult, because it has star ratings of how difficult it is. And last night we played one about the Gangs of Arkham, and it was, you know, about 240 minutes long, and the ranking was only 3, but it took a little longer than 240 minutes, but it was very, very fun. So there's the art box for this, the cover box. There's a cover box for this, and the lovely artwork. Without further ado, let's rip it open and see what's inside this lovely goodness. Ripping open the plastic, ripping open the plastic. Ooh, ooh. See, that's a new song that I'm making up because I'm gonna be a rock star. That's right. Plastic! Open, open, open. Oh, there's no, oh, new board game box smell. There's none of that in this. I don't know why. It's a different type of opening. This is totally different. I'm totally blown away by the way this expansion is opening. Like, what the heck? Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, I opened it upside down, but on purpose, because I gotta smell this. 1 second, please. Here, you can share in the loveliness. I'll put the camera, there you can see in the box. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Enough with smelling the new box stuff. Let's take a look at all this lovely goodness stuff. So you got your monster stands. You can see right here, they're pretty much standard. You can see, get it in focus there. There you go. So yeah, normal stands, large bases. A lot of people I've noticed online, they've been not using these bases for the monsters as well as the characters. They buy the clear plastic bases to use so you can see the board through it. Me, I like using the bases that are in, and I just paint them up, the bases. I base them out nice some sand, depending on what type of environment the monster is to. And I like the look of it. But there's 2 of the monster bases right there. In case anybody is not sure what the monster bases look like, that they're square, you have a card that inserts into it. You can see the little slot here. Insert it. The peg part is for the monster to stand on. You got 2 little windows to use the monster and the stats. Flip it over. It's hollow, so the card's inserted and it got all the stats. I'll show you what it looks like. But if you play Mansions of Madness, chances are that, or if you're watching this expansion, chances are you've played Mansions of Madness before, so you know exactly what these look like. As always in every Fantasy Flight game, whether it's Mansions of Madness or something else, you do get their calendar. Now this is the winter calendar 2017, and it tells you all the great products that they have and, you know, what's coming out and so forth. This is really good. I like looking at these. I'm not gonna go through it on camera because again, it is just a catalog. You can always just go onto their Fantasy Flight website if you want, and you can check out all their products too as well. This is the instruction sheet for the new expansion. Obviously, it's an expansion, so it's only 1 page. But what's really, really cool is the stuff they added to this expansion. It does make Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition gameplay just a little bit different and a little more challenging, which is great. I'm going to read through this a little bit for you so that we can see what new great things they added. First thing I want to talk about is the moving tiles, the additional rules for the moving tiles. It says right here. So during the game, tiles can move about the board. What? So the tiles, like the map tiles you see here, they can move about the board. This is definitely going to make a more challenging gameplay. And you know, you want to get to a certain door, but oh, the tile just moved, that kind of thing. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So when a tile is moved, it is removed from the current position on the board and placed in a central play area as indicated by the app. So the app will tell you when to move it and where to move it, which is really cool. And just to touch upon the app a little bit more, when I started the Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition app up last night when we started to play, it did have a pop-up saying that you can add the expansion app, oh, I hit the camera, the expansion app part to the app so that you have that in so you can play with the expansion of Sanctum of Twilight. It's really cool. As soon as it comes out, it's pretty much just released that same day that you can add the expansion to the app. And what's great about the app and the expansions is they are 100% free. That's right, free to add to the Mansion of Madness 2nd Edition core game app, which is incredible. Continuing on about the moving tiles, when a tile is moved, all figures, tokens, and cards on that tile maintain their position on that tile. That's very awesome. This is exciting. I want to play this again now. I should have opened it last night, but then I wouldn't have been able to do an unboxing. Didn't have time. Anyhow, another additional rules is overlapping tiles. During the game, tiles can be placed in such a way they are overlapping other tiles. What? That's... Oh boy. Anyhow, I'm going to keep reading and getting excited here. When an overlapping tile is placed, all figure tokens and cards maintain their positions on the board unless an effect specifically instructs otherwise. In this expansion, overlapping tiles cannot cover an entire space on the board. If a figure or card is on the part of the space that would be covered by another tile, investigators choose a group where to move those components within that space so they are not covered by the overlapping tiles. So if the app instructs you to cover over part or overlap one of the tiles and there's stuff on there, then the investigators as a group can say, nope, we got to move these somewhere before you overlap, because if you overlap, we're not going to be able to get at them. So that's a really good part of the stipulation, overlapping tiles, additional rules. Continuing on with the additional rules for the overlapping tiles, any part of the tile underneath another tile is no longer part of the board. So once you overlap, the underneath part of that tile is just gone. Investigators follow the normal rules of movement when moving into and out of spaces on overlapping tiles. Very interesting. So what the overlapping tiles kind of remind me of, if anybody out there that's watching this is a Harry Potter fan, like the revolving staircases that move all the time. So this is kind of the same thing. You got your tiles that are revolving, and then you have the tiles that are overlapping on other ones. So pretty much they take precedence and cover over part of the tiles that already exist, knocking them out of existence. Whoa, my mind is just blown. Another great additional rule is the resistance, or restraint. Sorry, I'm not reading properly. Bob, a maniac. Anyhow. So, various game effects cause investigators to place restraints. And that is a restraint token you can see right there. It's in focus, so there you go. Booyah. So, it says, a monster in a space that contains a restraint does not need to be evaded. Nice. So, last night we came upon some... we were playing and there was a riot, and I think the hit points of the riot gang was like 45. It was crazy. And you know, there's one single investigator was stuck there, me, and there's no way that I'm gonna just knock it down so fast. So I wanted to try to run away from the mob. So I clicked on the evade part and I had to do the test. So I'm thinking with this restraint token, I don't have to try to evade. I can just move away from them, which is really cool because I failed miserably at the evade. Anyhow, moving on. Space, the final frontier. No, spaces can contain multiple restraints. Great. When a monster activates, investigators as a group may choose to discard a restraint from the monster space. If they do, the monster forfeits its movement. Ooh. When investigators discard a restraint in its return to the restraint pool. All right, so instead of getting it out of the game completely, it just goes back to the restraint pool. Restraints are not possessions. They cannot be picked up, dropped, or traded. So that is the additional rules for the Sanctum of Twilight expansion for Mansion of Madness 2nd Edition. Again, the moving tiles, overlapping tiles, and the restraints. And that is it for, again, just what you get in the expansion. Now we're going to look at the tiles, the character cards, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so forth. The two new characters that you get in this expansion is Lily Chan. She's a martial artist. Oh, she can kick some monster's butt. This is awesome. She's got some pretty hefty stats here. So she has 7 damage she can take, like physical, and she's got mental of 7 too as well, or horror, whatever way you want to call it. And while you are attacking unarmed, if a monster would suffer 1 or more damage, it suffers 2 additional damage because she's a martial artist. That is why I'm getting it. Let me try to get this a little bit more in focus there. It's not working. Anyhow, continue on. So her stats here: strength is 4, agility 4, observation 3, lore is 3, influence 3, and will is 4. So she's pretty balanced across the board. I'm not going to read like the background story onto them, but just be aware that when you're playing Mansions of Madness, so you can get more into the character, you can flip it over and you got a little backstory of the characters, which is awesome because I love reading them, but I'm not reading on camera. Second character you get is Charlie Kane. He is a politician. A politician in the game of Mansions of Madness. Interesting. So you can see the little difference here. So the heart is 5 and the horror or brain or mental is 9. So he's got more mental because he's a politician. He's used to, you know, doing more things with their mind instead of physical, so that's why he's got a little higher brain power. Also too as well, while within range of a person, you may convert any magnifying glass to a success. Activate this ability only once per test. That's really cool though, because as long as you stay with somebody and you're using Charlie, then if you roll the magnifying glass, you don't have to use a clue token to change it. You can just automatically use the power for that. So that's really cool. It's very beneficial. So his stats here: strength is 3, he's a politician, not going to be really strong. Agility 2, he's not going to be fast either. Observation 4, that's good. Lore 3, influence 5, and will is 4. And again, he has a story onto the back too as well, which I am not going over. But that is the 2 characters, Lily Chen and Charlie Kane. This is a stack of cards that you get. I am definitely not going through every one of these. There is quite a bit of cards that you get in this little expansion, as you can see, but it'll just touch upon like 1 or 2. So unique item, let's take a look at one of these. This is a membership ring. Again, focus here kind of, yep. So membership ring, Silver Twilight Lodge memberships require sacrifice. And it's an evidence card. That probably wasn't a good unique item that I pulled out here. Yeah, so membership rings, there's a lot of these. Just like if you're familiar with playing the game, some are duplicate and triplicate and everything because you need them, and each of them had different conditions and everything. So there's your damaged ones, you know. Oh, here's a cool one to look at. Let's look at this. So this is a condition, it's stressed. After re-rolling and converting die results while resolving a test, you must remove 1 success from the dice pool. At the end of your turn, discard this card. So that means when you're stressed, you just have to remove 1 and that's it. And I'm not in camera. I'm stressed. So yeah. Let's take a peek. Let's look at like just a common item here. Let's flip a common item. Take a look. Oh, track shoes. It's an equipment. You may move 1 additional space as part of your move action. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, will definitely come in handy when you want to try to get to an objective, but you just don't have enough moves and you have to wait till your next turn. You got track shoes, you're able to move 1 additional space. That will definitely help out a lot. Plastic, 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 more plastic. I love plastic. Oh, I was recording there. I was supposed to record just after I moved. Hey, Board Game Maniacs. So these are the map tiles. Oh God, don't think I'm crazy, please. Don't think I'm crazy. This is the cardboard cutouts that you get for the map tiles, the string tiles, the other characters, the walls, and so on. So just to show you, like these are some of the extra map tiles or maps that you get to go into. So you got like a crematory room. Inner Sanctum is another one. These are your restraint tokens, as we talked about when I read through the pamphlet. And obviously they're double-sided, not the restraint tokens, but the map tiles itself, like Parade Float and Pharmacy. I'm not going to go through every single one of these tiles. I know there's only 3, but I'm not going to read all of them. But as you can see, Whoa, I just popped that open. Oh. I don't know this. Okay, anyhow. So, you know, all different ones too as well. They're double-sided. You get different characters. These aren't characters you play, but this is characters that you will find in the game and you can interact with and talk and choose different choices when you're talking to them and what to ask them and everything else. This is really cool. This is a parade float though, so like a fairy parade float. Awesome stuff. So that's the second tile. Just show you quickly. This third tile is this. And also you got the two monster cards right here. So they're in focus. I might as well read them. So this here is a wraith. Pretty scary looking. Let's read a little bit about the wraith, shall we? Let's see if I can bring this up and focus a little bit more. Here we go. See if that'll work. So phasing. This monster can move through impassable borders and walls. Oh, lovely. I don't like that idea. Wraith prowl the mortal world. Restless in death. Primal rage and pain twist them into spectral predators who seek terror and violence. Oh boy. So one thing I want to point out too as well, I hope this is still in focus here. So with every expansion that you get for Mansions of Madness, they have like the name of the tile and then you have a little icon. So you can see this little icon right here. So what that means is what expansion this is belonged to. So every one of these map tiles and also like the monster tiles will have that little icon that they're, so you can tell like, hey, this is part of this expansion, the Sanctum of Twilight or the Arkham. Like there's so many different expansions for this too as well, but just let you know that that is how you can tell what expansion they belong to. Looking at the minis, which is one of my favorite part to do in any board game or tabletop game. These are the wraith. So there's two of them. They're in the same pose. You can tell they're female, or you think they're female, but I don't know. They're wearing a dress. That's all I'm saying. They could be male. They could be female. They could be monster. Well, they are monster. They're a wraith, but there's no like they're this or they're that. They're just wraith, and that's it. They live in the mortal world, and they seek violence and terror and everything. So detail on these, like any other miniature from Mansions of Madness, is really good, really fun to paint. I did paint the core box and most of the expansions, the miniatures for them already. These ones I did not, and I am, well, 3/4 of the way through the last expansion for the painting. There weren't a lot of miniatures in the last expansion as well, but there was some, and they're almost all painted. I think it's just the monsters are left to do, but these are the wraith figures for the Sanctum of Twilight expansion for Mansions of Madness Fantasy Flight 2nd Edition. In case anybody is wondering how they go together, I know it's very, very simple and common sense, but you have your base, you have your miniature, and you have your card. This, for instance, this is the monster card. So you see it's two numbers and a little bit of writing in the back, and you got the slots. So all you do is you take this and you slide it in like so that you can see the name of the monster and the stats. And the other side is clear so you can see everything. And then you take your monster miniature and there's a peg hole there and you just stick it in. I'm not pushing it in right now because I'm going to glue them in place, but I'm going to paint them out first. So anyhow, that is what it looks like. Just like that. Very easy. Very simple to put together. Here is Charlie Kane, the politician. So let me show you if I can get a little bit more in focus. There we go. So really cool detail onto the heroes. Politician. So yeah, you can see like he's even got like a tie clip here. Really cool. He's holding a cigar. His belt, he's got his hand in his pocket. Awesome for Charlie Kane, the politician. Let's look at the final miniature. This is Lily Chen. She is the martial artist, as I said. She's in a martial arts pose. She's got the traditional martial arts uniform on, and she is ready to kick some monsters' butt. Really cool, like detail-wise, everything. I'm excited. I think the next time we play Mansions of Madness, I'm going to use her because I like the look of her. I like her stats, and that's just what it all boils down to. There you have it, Board Game Maniacs. That is the contents of the expansion for Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, Sanctum of Twilight. and all its content. So you can see I went over everything here. Very interesting stuff. I like the new additional rules about the moving tiles, the overlapping tiles, and the restraint tokens. I can't wait to play it for that part because I'm looking forward to it just because it's Mansion of Madness and I love the game, as well as many, many, many others do as well, and many, many other board game maniacs do. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing video for the Sanctum of Twilight. As always, click the like button, share it, and subscribe for more great content on our Board Game Maniac YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook page, and we also have a Instagram page too as well, and I think we have Tumblr page, so you can check us on there too as well. Hope you're enjoying all of this stuff. I'm wanting to play Mansions of Madness on camera. It's just, it can take a really long time. I've been toying with the idea that we may start doing some live streaming of gameplay, and if we do some live streaming gameplay, it's going to take, some games are obviously going to take a couple hours for live streaming, and it's live, so there's no, it's what you see that happens is what's going to happen, and that is that. Like, you may hear some, you know, some people might get a little excited and say some adult words that shouldn't be heard by children's ears. But I will put a disclaimer up if we are going to do any live recordings, any games such as like Mansions of Madness and other games, because I definitely want to start doing some live streaming. If you think it's a good idea, Board Game Maniacs, for live streaming, please comment down below and let me know, like, hey, this is great, I want to see that. Or, you know, I wouldn't be interested in seeing live streaming at all. But in any case, just comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are about this. And also talk to me about the Mansion of Madness if you played this expansion yet. Now, this is a very, very new expansion. You may not have played it yet. But when you do, and if you come across this video, please comment down below and let me know how it is. So when I'm playing it, I get a little bit of heads up so I can be one up on the other Board Game Maniacs. Ha 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 ha. That's right. So until next time, talk to people. Communication is key. Play some board games, tabletop games, VR games, video games. But, most importantly of all, you know what I'm going to say? And that is, be a maniac.